You joined us for Rain of Blood, and together we made it rain bigger and better than we could have ever imagined. So now, join us for a second blazing inferno of knowledge and exploration. You're listening to Rain of Fire, the scorching sequel event to Rain of Blood, where we're going to delve into the world of fire play education and safety as we prepare for the upcoming Rain of Fire event. Join your host, Miss Kitten, Radically Dark, and Ember Solaris as we ignite your curiosity and stoke the flames of passion with discussions, interviews, and authentic insights from around the globe. Together, we're three flames united in one mission to make quality kink education more accessible and open pathways to conversation and connection about edgeplay topics around the world. But before we dive into these sizzling topics, a content warning. Rain of Fire discusses mature themes, explicit content, and practices related to BDSM and fire play. So listener discretion is advised, and this is an adult-only podcast. Other topics may include mental health, trauma, consent, and more. So please be sure you're in a good spot to engage in these topics before continuing to listen. So, grab your fire gear, stoke the flames of curiosity, and let's embark on this crackling journey together. Welcome to Rain of Fire.
Hey, fire starters. Welcome back to Rain of Fire podcast. We're really excited. Today's been a big day. We've just dropped our schedule. So check out our schedule on Instagram or on FetLife. We're really excited. And in my dungeon today, I'm speaking to Eon's Whips, and I have Adele and Sid, and they are from France. I'm correct?
Yes.
Yay, welcome guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thanks for you.
Yeah, your stuff is absolutely beautiful, and you guys have a very creative, kinky life, and you've made some beautiful things. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the company and what you guys make and how you started this journey?
Yeah, we started to make whips, I think 2 years ago or three, maybe two. Yeah, between those. We never had the chance to buy any whips because as it has a certain cost, we would like a perfect whip for both of us. And it was really hard to find someone who can say your whips will be looking like this with this color on anything. So we never jumped into, we never tried to buy one. We talked to people, we never spent anything. And one time I had to repair a dress, and I was like, if I have to buy something to repair the dress, I'm going to buy something to create the whips, because it's been a long time I was watching video doing so. And I made the first whip. I showed it to Adele, and she was like, yeah, it's amazing. I want to make one too. So I taught her how to make one. She made the second, and we never stopped making whips. And it was our community was very supportive. So we showed the first whips, and they were like, yeah, it's really good. You should continue. Maybe we should start to sell to people. And we started the business about whips, firstly. Then people were starting to ask for floggers. So we made floggers too. And some friends of us were doing some fire massage in that time. And they taught us how to make fire massage. And so we added this to the Eon's Whips company because it was really, people were really liking this. And here we go.
I love that. We had a similar journey with whips where we really wanted a certain whip for play and we couldn't get it in our country. So we also researched everything and watched a lot of videos and started making our own whips. And you guys will relate to this. It hurts your hands. It's really hard work. It's not, I think people underestimate how much time goes into building a whip. So maybe you want to discuss that process a little bit and just tell me how you find it and how many hours it takes you and what is your favorite part?
Yeah, the first time I tried, I think I maybe took some 10 hours to make the first whip, but I was also looking the video in the same time, doing some mistakes or doing it again every part of the whip. And I was also slower because I wasn't used to it.
My first one took me 12 hours.
Yeah,
I remember.
A little bit more. Since we are
Adele, I'm with you. My first one took me 10 hours over 2 days, so it was 20 hours all in all, because I kept getting to the end and having an extra strand of string that I hadn't got in, and it was very frustrating. The first one, it took me a while to learn to do that, and my partner is better than me.
When we look back at our first whip, it was really some ugly whips, but we are so proud of it. But now we are not anymore. But still, we are keeping it somewhere. We don't want to sell those or give it. We just take it for
history.
Yeah, for
That's our history.
I love that. Yeah, we've also got our first ones. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. And as you said, it's hurting hands a lot. We were not first, and I think when we started, we made whips stiffer and stiffer until one point we said, yeah, maybe it's a little too much stiffer, and we tried to reduce the strength we put on the whip. And since our hands feels a little better, but still not happy with the hand. It's hurting a little bit, but very less than before.
Do you play with your whips? Do you use your whips?
Yeah, we do. I try to play at least once with every whip I do. When I say play, it's not on someone, but just playing it around just to feel the whip. Yeah, to try it and to be sure the whip is correct. And we also like to do some impact play. I'm not fond of pain, so I don't really like impact, but Adele does. I'm happy to say I have a pretty decent level in impact because I love to watch everyone who is doing it. So I try to learn some techniques to reproduce some gesture, and I really love the artistic part you can have when you yield a whip.
That whip, Adele, I love the whip. It's one of my favorite plays. We do the whip with balloons. So we get a harness and we fill a whole bunch of huge balloons, and we fill them with glitter and fake blood and all kinds of things. And then I get to stand on a table, and my top gets to stand on the floor and whip the balloons until they burst, and the balloons burst everywhere. And then he turns me around and he gets to whip me as well. And I just love it. It's the most adrenaline. There's nothing like the feeling of a whip hitting you. Like there's no other feeling in the world. There's no cane or paddle or anything that matches that. But I will say that learning to whip, it's a really physical sport, and it's really my shoulder, my wrist, my arm. And I have to laugh because both boys who play with whips with me are a little bit older. They're not youngsters anymore. So if they don't warm up properly, they are sore for 2 or 3 weeks afterwards. So I heal from the whip marks way before they are healed and back to being my geriatric men. So they've really got it. They've really got to warm up. Are you guys making whips that you can set on fire?
We are still working on that because we have some difficulties for the handle. But yeah, we have a prototype for a fire whip, and we tried several times to use it, but we are not really used to handle it. So it's just some simple gesture we have. We might need to work on that.
I'd love to chat more about that with you, because we also designed our own fire whip, and we're now using it pretty regularly, but it took some time. We also can't get Kevlar so easily in this country, so we had to find a different medium to make the core out of. But I think we've got it down now, and ours is working pretty well. But it's an exciting journey. There's nothing quite like feeling that whip when it's full of fuel and it's a light. It's quite an interesting feeling when it's ablaze, and the noise it makes when it goes through the air is really super cool. It's one of my favorite parts of the fire whip. It's like as close as you get to Star Wars in Africa. For us, it's like it's really cool. So I wish you best of luck with that, and I'm sure my top would love to talk to you about what you guys are doing with your fire whips and share ideas, because I think he's always looking for people who are just as crazy as he is, and who have tried some certain things and worked or not worked. Tell me a little bit more about fire in your lives and what you guys do with fire, and how fire is part of your kink experience.
So, except of the fire whips that we do not use a lot, we are teaching people to do some fire massage. So, in addition to the fire whip, we are making torches, because it's kind of hard to find the good ones for fire massage. And we have seen people using some lighters to light the product we use, but it's not really nice, because when you're on a fire massage and not on fire play, because fire play is more about fear, I think, and fire massage is more sensual approach. We like to have a nice area with no tick on the lighter and just the torches. So we are
we are making our own torches, and we can personalize them, and we can make them assorted to whips if we want. So that was the part about making. And about the fire massage, we are really in love with this word massage, because that's the difference between us and fire play. We like fire plays. That's what we have seen first, with a big bubble and big flame. But it's more impressive for people who see it than for people who live it. And we want to make something different. That's why we have tried different approach on fire massage. And that's more about making a nice sweet bubble around two people and giving him emotions. And that's why we love it, and that's why it's important for us to say fire massage. And what do you have to say?
So we have some few gestures with the fire massage, and the goal is to lit the body in a crescent way. So we don't put big flames at the first, and we are not putting some low flames at the end. The goal is to hit the body, so the body is used to be near flames. So for starting, we just move the torches around the body. We do not touch the body. Then we can put some product on the body. We light it with a torch, and then we just light off the flames with the hand. And next we can just put the flaming torch on the body directly, and we move the flame right after it. And eventually we can finish with the big flames and the bubbles, but it's not the goal at all, because it's really some détente.
Yeah, I love that. It's really about being intimate and about sharing space. I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, and I relaxation a lot. And on the back, there is a lot of muscles, and the heat of the flames helps people to relax a lot.
And I think, so I'm a total sadist and a total masochist. Everything I do in kink has always been about pain, whether I'm giving it or receiving it. So fire is interesting for me because it's quite a sensual kink. When you get over the fear and over the big explosions, it can be hugely soft and hugely sensual. So it's really, I've learned a lot from just listening to you speak about how you warm the back up first with not touching, just putting the fire over them. I think that's a really fabulous reminder just to take your time and respect the canvas, respect the body, and give the body the best chance. So that was really beautiful listening to you guys talk about that. We've done a little bit of fire massage. It'll make you cringe. Ours was very quick and very hot. But I think if we followed a couple of your guidelines that you've just spoken about, we'd definitely improve our sessions, and they would definitely be more gentle, and maybe other people would be more keen on trying them.
We mostly relate fire massage with aftercare too, because there is part with fear and with trust. So we can do it as a session, but it's mostly for me for aftercare and ending something with someone with care and kindness and hit.
Yeah, and we are very proud of what we've done, because we have done a lot of exhibition now and workshops, and there are several times some people saying, I'm really afraid of fire, but I saw how you do it, and I would like to try just to pass my fear and move on this. And every time it was really nice. The person was really happy with it, and we were really proud to help people who are afraid of fire.
I love that, Adele. I love how you relate it to aftercare and to something that is healing and something that is kind. I thought that was really beautiful. It makes me aware that my journey with fire might have been a bit wild, and that I can calm down a little bit, and that I can be kinder with fire. I love that. I think that's an absolute beautiful thought. I'm sure my partner will be thrilled to know that I can be kinder with fire. And I think what you said there about people acknowledging that they've watched you do it, and that the experience was beautiful, and that you gave them confidence, are such positive things in a kink. And I think it's a good reminder to me personally as a top that sometimes calibrating something, showing a very, very kind side of something, and showing the beauty in it is very important to people who don't understand the kink. It's fine to do the wild stuff with people who are experienced and who know what's going on and can consent to the experience, but starting small and gently is really beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to try your massage as a little bit of aftercare. I'm going to try that this week and see if I can improve my fire technique a bit and be a bit kinder. And I'm sure it's beautiful. I feel like you've given me a new perspective on fire. It was so lovely to listen to you talk.
Yeah, that's why the Reign of Fire exists. So we are happy.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about these cons is you get to see so many different perspectives, and the subject is so big. There's so much stuff you can do with fire. It's lovely to hear what other people are doing and what other people's journey is like and what other people's experience is like. Are there any safety precautions that you recommend, or any tips that you can give us for a better play setup when you're playing with fire?
When we are giving our lessons, we are talking a lot about a few recommendations about the environment. Sorry,
Yeah.
About taking care of the surface you're playing, or the air that can move around you, the wind, and about the product that you will use.
Mostly you have to take care about the environment, the wind, and people's skin, because sometimes people have a skin which will react really fast to fire, like some skin disease, or if you have any recent injuries or recent tattoo, maybe it's better to avoid those parts. And then we have a big part of how you put your products to avoid any issue. And if you have any issue, to not to panic and to react fast. Because if you panic, you can make more mistakes. And it's really about self-control when something happens. It's not rare that some few small mistakes happen, but it's rarely really dangerous. It's just
impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive, and it can make people panic. So we just have to control it. And most of the time, it's just like the towel taking fire. You just have to tap on it and fire goes away, or anything like this. But we never had any accident, for example, for people, because, for example, we put a towel on the hair to make sure it's not taking fire. We are taking precautions. It's most of the parts of the workshop we do, but it's the easy part.
I don't know if they're so easy. I think when you start with, we've played with fire outside with the whips, and it's very easy to set up because you've got a cement floor, you've got the fuel in one corner, you've got the lights in the other corner, so nothing connects with each other. You've got a huge space because you're wielding a whip, so people stay out of your way. They generally don't get in your way anyway. So the whip demands its space. But when we started to play in a smaller space, it took a while to learn the setup. So I think you mustn't discredit how much time you spend playing with it and how used to setting up you are, and how important those things are to hear for newbies. We had our butane bubbles in the corner of the dungeon, and we put the bubbles on the hand of somebody who was new, and they got such a fright that they flicked the bubbles when they were alight, and the bubbles ended up in the fuel container, and the whole fuel container went up. Whoosh. So, and that was a good 4 meters away. It wasn't close. It wasn't, they flicked super hard, and they just got such a big fright when it happened. So I think the important thing with fire that I'm learning is you never know how people are going to react. Yeah. It's really important that the basics are in place, like you're talking about. And I think it's really important that people like you guys that are teaching it are really reminding the audience that it's fire. Anything can happen, and it's going to go wrong at some time, and you have to have a plan. You cannot go there without a plan. So yeah, and I have to say, when you throw the spark into the bucket of butane bubbles, it's very impressive. It's a huge flame. But things like, we have a metal bucket for the butane bubbles, so even the fire in the bucket it wasn't a risk for anybody. It was impressive to see, but it was easy to handle because it was just putting a towel over the top of it to stop the oxygen, and the bubbles went out. But if that had been a plastic bucket, it might not have ended so well. Yeah. So it's just little things. But I think in the beginning, when you start with it, you don't know what you don't know. So it's really good to have exposure to classes like yours, so that you have an idea of what people who have experience are experiencing.
And I don't know how it is around the world, but in France, fire and playing with fire is growing and growing. And we know that people will try. Definitely, they will try. So we are trying to give classes so they can try safely, and they can come to us before playing and having bad experience.
Yeah, and in the lessons, we're accompanying every people to every gesture, so no one is playing with fire without having someone else close to him to handle anything and to remind him what he should do, what he should not do. So it's very safe to learn this way, and we never remind people to remember them. It's still fire. It can be really dangerous, and an accident can happen even if you do your best. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I like what you said about having somebody somebody to help you with fire, like having a spotter, having somebody on the floor. That's made a big difference in my life, is having a team that are really good with a towel and really watching the safety aspect, because as a new top for fire, there's a lot to control. There's a lot going on, and you need a little bit of help and support. I think that gets easier when you have more experience, but I'm not there yet. I'm very grateful to my spotters and to the guys with the towels, and I have a very cool safety officer. She doesn't want to play with fire. She stands in the corner and she gives us all very good advice as we're playing. And she's on your team for the hair thing. She won't let anybody lie down on the table or have fire near them without having a wet towel over their hair. She's all for saving people's hair. So she's our hair safety officer, and she's also really good at saying that's the best shot at that angle for taking pictures. So yeah, we've had a great time exploring fire. That I'm really grateful for your perspective, Adele. It was so beautiful for you to listen to you talk about your experience with it, and I feel like you've passed on some kindness with fire to me tonight. So I'm going to take that home and do some kind things with fire this week.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Sid. And guys, we're really keen to connect with you for Rain of Fire. They're going to have a class for us. If you haven't got your tickets, I don't know what you're doing. Please get your tickets, listeners. We have some amazing artists. We have some great vendors. Eon's Whips is at our event. I will drop their link in the podcast as well so that you guys can reach out to them if you're looking for a whip or for a flogger or for a fire wand. These guys are awesome. Their tools are definitely made with love, and they're using their own products. So it's really lovely to see somebody who is using their own kink items and making it for others. So please support them. It's so lovely to chat globally to people in France about fire. How cool is that? That is it's amazing to be able to reach you guys. So wherever you are in your fire journey, we're sending you lots of love from Rain of Fire, and lots of kitten kisses from my dungeon to yours.